You want to have permanent stability and a lot of other boons while roaming in Guild Wars 2 World vs. World? Then don't look further. Today I will show you the Signet Catalyst Roaming build. I'm Surma, and without much further ado, let's jump right in. So for gear you run complete Celestial gear with Superior Rune of the Reaver. Reaver is good because it gives you all stats, so it's like a Celestial rune to some extent, not as Divinity, not that much, but it also gives you some burning duration, condition duration, chill duration, which is really good because you apply these conditions a lot. And if you get even more condition duration, it's even stronger. To then run Relic of the Astral Ward, we see it's a Signet build, so this one is really strong. It was a really good choice when it was first released, even in PvP. The reason for that is this: every time you use a Signet skill, you get Signet of the Astral Ward. And when you use a Signet skill, so another one after you got the Signet of the Astral Ward, you will cleanse 2 conditions and apply resistance to you and allies around you. Which is really strong, because if you have 4 Signets, like I do, you can spam this. This doesn't have an internal cooldown as far as I know. So you can spam this really hard. In PvP it got nerfed, at least for Elementalist. We see later why. But in World vs. World it does not apply the nerf, so therefore it's really strong. Like I said, full Celestial. For weapons we use Scepter Dagger for, let's say, some range damage, and you could use Focus, but you need more damage, or you want more damage. And therefore you take Dagger. It's also nice for the mobility without the lightning. So you use Doom Sigil and Geomancer Sigil. Both of these sigils are really strong in combination, because Geomancy uses a ring of earth around you when you weapon swap every 9 seconds, and this does apply the poison stacks. So if you are melee, which let's say oftentimes happens in World vs. World, for example, a thief ganks you, you swap weapons, he instantly gets poison and bleeding, and this does a lot of damage. It's really high. If you have some might, it can tick just from this weapon swap. What you will always do, attunement swap on Elementalist is like a weapon swap. So you will get value from weapon swapping and deal a lot of damage. Don't underestimate that. It's almost 10k or something. So it's really strong, or 12k or something. It's really good. So for traits, we use Fire, Earth, and the Catalyst. So in Fire you get a little bit more power in Fire. Then that's a Celestial trait, it's made for it. If you crit, you apply Burning, and the duration of Burning is longer. That's really good, every 5 seconds. Then you get Fire Aura, which is good with Catalyst when you swap to Fire. And your auras remove conditions, really good. That's why Fire is, let's say, the pristine cleansing trait line of Catalyst, or of Elementalist in general. So if you get an aura, you will get 1 condition cleanse, and if you transmute the aura via your weapon skills, you will get even 2 removes. And the fire auras have increased duration, okay. Your fire weapon skills deal more damage to burning foes and have a smaller cooldown. Nice, good, more damage. And then you get might when you cast skills while you are tuned to fire, so more damage, just really good, and some nice explosion as well. So on Earth, you get a little bit less damage while attuned to Earth. You do a little bit of crippling and game barrier when you swap to Earth. Nice to have. And you get even less damage from nearby foes, and your Earth skills get less recharge, which is good because your Earth skills are actually quite strong in this setup. So then your auras grant protection, which is really strong because you have boon duration on Celestial gear, so you get a lot of protection uptime, almost 100%, because you spam auras like crazy. And then you get more movement speed, and every time you get... No, you don't get more movement speed, but you get endurance when you get hit by these conditions, the movement impairing ones, and they have less duration, which is really good because they can kill you, of course. And then you have this trait, which is really strong. This one got nerfed in PvP, but it's not nerfed in World vs. World. At least not that strong. So every time you use a Signet skill, you get a corresponding aura. For Signet of Air, it's Shocking Aura. For Signet of Earth, it's magnetic aura, and for the other both signets I have, it's frost aura. All of these are really strong. And in conjunction with this trait, you get the passives permanently, even if you use the signets, which is really good. So you can spam them to proc your Astral Vault Relic. And then you have Catalyst, you get your F5 axis. Then you get some, let's say, more energy to spam this F5 and some might. When you swap alternatives, you get more stats from Elemental Empowerment, which is really good. So all stats really strong. Maximum 10 stacks, you get 30% more all stats, which is really good if you have full stacks, which is really, really strong in World vs. World, of course, with Celestial gear. Then you have the Sphere, which will give you some extra boons for every F5 you used. Some resistance, fury, vigor, might, they're all really good. And then you get some aura when you combo something in your fields, depending on the attunement you're currently in. And they each, let's say, have the cooldown of your attunement swap, 10 seconds like this. It's really good. And every time you get an aura, you grant stability 3 seconds, which is really good. It's even more, 4 seconds. So it's really strong. You get so many auras, you get so many stability stacks, and you have so many, let's say, different procs with auras that it's really, really good. That so many auras, you just spam it with Catalyst, and you see how many boons I have here. And I didn't even use my Signet skills yet, so really good. For food, you want to use the minus 10% damage one and plus 45 to all attributes. It's called the Swearitide Peppercorn Spiced Oyster Soup. It's really good. And for utilities, you can use anything. I use Tuning Icicles. It does give me some more condition pressure because that's, let's say, the main damage of your build comes from conditions. You do some power damage, of course, because you're Celestial. Auto attack actually is rather strong after the Scepter rework. It just deals some damage, some AoE burning application on your target. You have to have a target for that. Then you can use Dragon's Tooth on a target, which will make a Dragon's Tooth that drops on it and follows. Deals some damage as Blast Finisher and also applies some burning. Then you have Phoenix. Just going quick over the skills because you have so many on a Elementalist. Phoenix is a Blast Finisher, is a projectile that's also unblockable and will deal some heavy damage when it explodes and will come back to you and cleanse a condition and grant you vigor. The skill is really strong. And then you have your 4, which is a fire field, so you can use it to stack some might with your Blast Finishers. 2 and 3 are Blast Finishers. And 5 is some heavy damage if you can land it, some cone in front of you, which deals more damage against burning foes. Your Fire Sphere grants might. It's really good, and it's also fire field to stack up might because you are in fire attunement, so you proc your Pyromancer's Puissance trait. In water, the auto attack is not that strong, but it will heal you as the other skill because you have the Healing Signet. And you can use the Healing Signet when you are at it also off cooldown because the passive still remains, so you can cast it for heal and grant some healing from the healing per cast every time you use skills. The 2 skill is actually not that bad anymore. It will grant some chill application and some damage. The 3 skill is quite nice. It deals some damage if it hits and also heals you quite a bit. Really good. Then you have your Frost Aura. You have a lot of access to Frost Aura with the healing skill, with the Signet of Water, with your 4 and your blast finishers in, or your combo finishers in your water attunement. And if you use it, it grants you minus 10% incoming damage and some chill application if they hit you. Protection, stability, it's really strong. And if you transmute it, you can use it here. It will remove 2 conditions and gives you some regen. The 5 heals you and removes 3 conditions, also some allies. And the the Jade Sphere gives you some vigor and resolution, pulsing. And of course, it's a water field. That's really strong. So you can use some blast finishers in the water field, and you will get some nice healing to you. So Earth, this is just some targeted auto attack. Not that crazy damage with Celestial, but it's okay. Then the 2 is an instant cast on the target, deals some damage. And the 3 is does no damage but is a blind, and if the foe is vulnerable, it will get weakened as well. So if you use the 2 and 3 almost instantaneously after one another, you will get some vulnerability, blind, and weakness to the target. Really good. The 4 is a really strong skill. It's right to lightning. It's a really nice gap closer. Also a disengage skill. You can use this to hit your targets and get more in fight. And if you hit them, the cooldown gets halved. It's really strong. And then your 5 skill is, let's say, dash backwards, a small one. Launches the enemy and is an evade. Gives you some swiftness. So if you use that, for example, on a downed body, you can move them. Or you can also do some, nice jukes or evades with this. And then your air sphere, the most important sphere for damage, is fury, application, and quickness pulsing. Really strong, so you can do your casts more fast. And then, let's see if I can get to the camp. Probably not. Yeah. Okay, so, and then you have your earth, which does some heavy bleeding on your auto attack. Not that special, but it's nice damage. Then your 2 skill is really strong. It will, on the first cast, it will grant you some barrier and some toughness while you have it, and some resistance. It stays for 30 seconds, or if you want to reactivate it, if you have a target, you can do some projectile finishers that will apply bleeding and do some heavy damage. If you do it in your earth sphere, which is a poison field, it will also apply poison and bleeding, so it's a really strong damaging skill. And if you're 3, it's a little bit of blind and cripple application, nothing special. Your 4 is a knockdown on AoE around you, really nice if you can land it, and it's a blast finisher. The 5 is also a blast finisher, but there's some more damage, and there's like a small jump in the direction of the target, and some bleeding. So it's a damaging skill, which is a blast finisher. And like I said, there's a poison field, your Jade Sphere, but will also pulse protection and give you some resistance on the first pulse. So it's really, really nice. You have a lot of boon access with this setup. Healing skill, I explained it again. It will give Frost Aura if you cast it. The Signet of Earth is passively some toughness, which you will get always because you have the written in stone trait. And if you cast it, your target will be immobilized and bleed if it hits. Really strong and actually really long immobilized with Celestial Gear. So actually it's interesting. It says improves toughness, but it does not. It changed it. It's minus 10% incoming damage. So it's a little bit different. It has the same effect, but it's not toughness actually. So then you have Signet of Air, which grants you passive movement speed, really strong, because like I said, it's permanent. And then you have some blind application when you do this and some burn. But it's most importantly, it's a stun break on your only stun break in this build. That's maybe a little bit questionable for some people, but you have so much stability uptime with the auras that you don't really need stun breaks. If you need stun breaks, you can use this one, but you don't have that many needs for it, so one is enough. And it will also give Shocking Aura, which will stun enemies that hit you when they don't have stability, so it's really strong. It's a really overloaded skill. And then Signet of Water gives you some Frost Aura if you cast it, and actually also revives allies, and a heavy heal, and some heavy chill application as well. Passively, if it reduces condition duration, which is not that important because you have a lot of cleanse, because every time you get an aura, you will cleanse. So the cleansing is okay on this build, not as strong as, for example, my Celestial Harbinger. Be sure to check the build out as well on YouTube if you want. But it's quite nice. And the last thing is Elemental Celerity. It's a really strong skill. It will reset at least for 25 seconds or less cooldown. It will reset all your weapon skills in this attunement you're currently in. So you can use it to do some more burst damage in a fire attunement, or can use this to instantly ride the lightning twice, and you see it's crazy how much distance I could cover just in a bit. It's a really strong skill, and it will also give you some boons depending on the attunement you cast it in. So that's the skills, and that's actually the build. Just spam your attacks, and if you want to think about it, you have some combos to stack might, of course, and also some think about when you use your blast or leap finishers to get your auras in your fields to proc the corresponding aura in your element. So in Earth you get magnetic aura, in Air, you get Shocking Aura, both really strong. And Water gives you some Frost Aura if you do some finisher with this. And in Fire, you get Fire Aura. So a lot of strong auras. You have really good access and a lot of traits that synergize with auras. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more build guides like this, don't forget to subscribe. Hope to see you in the next video.